All right, second try. Anything, any better at all. All right, I still don't think that my volume's working. This has never happened. Okay.
Oh, it's working.
Is it working?
It's working.
It's working?
Yeah, it's
Check.
working. Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't know what the difference was, but whatever. All right, we'll give some people some time to get on. All right, pancakes. All right, so we can hear my pancakes go, guys. Am I too dark on this? There we go. All right. Hi, Cameron. Hi, Elizabeth Ferris. Got two people on. We'll wait for everyone else to migrate over here, and I'll go a little extra fast just to keep up. Hi, DeShadow. Here. Bless you. All right, we got 3 on. You on over there?
Yeah, well,
All right, cool. 4 on. All right, we got Blake. And perfect now? Okay, cool. Hey, John. Hey. Hey, Elizabeth Ferris. All right. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. And I'm going to start. Oh, retracted. I see. All right. Let's begin. All right, you guys. First things first. I told you that I would talk about the protest some more, just so you guys can I think it's a pretty decent topic to kind of anchor our conversations on. So go again with the quote of the day. The quote of the day. Look in the book. If you guys don't have the book, it's upside down. It's Limitless Hoops. This is the 7th grade one I'm reading out, but it has a one for every single grade. If you go to limitlesshoops.com, you can get yourself a copy of the book. It has workouts in there. It has all the quotes of the day, all the motivational stuff, and basically everything to help you guys become a better basketball player. So starting off with today's quote of the day, we have defy the odds. For some of you guys, that might mean coming from a spot where maybe you're too short, too slow, or maybe for some other people, it might be that they're too poor to afford something like a basketball program and things like that. And no matter what, you want to defy the odds. And for all of us, I mean, if your goal is the NBA, since there's only 400 people in the NBA, only 400 people in the whole NBA, basically anyone who makes it defied the odds. Because 400 divided by 8 billion is a pretty small number. All right. So if you want to defy the odds in general, just in your overall life, and if your goal is something like very easily attainable, you should want to be the top of that profession or the top of that. No matter what you want to do, you want to be the best at it. Even if it's like a trash man, be the best trash man that has ever lived. All right. So defy the odds to reach your goals in life. Right. And every obstacle that, since I've, been watching all this stuff happen, every obstacle is your greatness that is ready to become. All right. So when you're faced with an obstacle, you have no chance to be great without that obstacle being there. So when you see the obstacle, that should be like your excitement. When Michael Jordan had his flu game, I'm sure that he was like, sick and all that other stuff. But I think a little piece of him was like, if I do well this game, people will remember it forever. All right. And that's how you have to be. So if you have obstacles in your life, if you have obstacles, whatever, you should be like excited to take on that challenge to rectify it. All right. And today we're going to talk about the history of riots. All right. And there's been so many riots, like the one that we just had in the history of the planet, really. Basically, whenever you push someone too hard and they've been, and like if they have something, like if they have like money or whatever, and you push someone with money too hard, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna take their money and go somewhere else, or they're gonna make a policy that's against you. They're gonna get you back. But if you do that to someone who doesn't have any money and they have like no power towards you, like all they're doing is like kneeling and like yelling at you, and you're like, do whatever you want. Eventually, they're gonna strike back. All right. And this is what has happened over the years. So one famous riot was the 1921 Tulsa riots. All right. This one is so famous because basically blacks were coming out of slavery, right? And they had built up their wealth because, some were given stuff, but some just started working, because, people are good, people are smart, no matter who they are, if they try hard, right? Well, they became so well off that they created what was known as Black Wall Street, and it was this like long like road, and it was like all these like booming businesses that they were even doing better than like some like white businesses were, and not all white people at the time, but some were extremely jealous of this place, and kind of with the government's help, they took planes and they bombed this place and they burnt down all the buildings. So what you guys are seeing now, all the riots, this was basically like a whole bunch of white people rioting the black people that were like the wealthy black people, and they destroyed the entire town. And that stuff happens, but the craziest part of it all is that it disappeared. It was never written in the history books. And why? Because it was like a shame, and no one wanted to talk about it. So they never counted the dead bodies, nothing. They buried them in this huge like dirt plot, and no one knew about it after a while because people just forgot about it. And it wasn't in any history book at all until 2000. So it took 75 years for people to find out about this thing, and people are just now finding out about it, and now they're making movies about it. And actually, about 6 months ago, they found the graves. And basically this big secret that America was holding, that like basically like white people are violent too. It's now coming to fruition, and now people are realizing that like black people aren't stupid. Like, oh, they can be smart too. But it's a dangerous thing to talk about, and that was one of the most horrific things. And if you watch the show on HBO, Watchmen, they actually started off by talking about the Tulsa riots. So it's a very, very famous thing now, and basically that was people's opportunity, because after that everything got way better. And now that we're finding out more information, now we can like move on from that and get better. So without obstacles in our life, we're not going to be able to do that. The first thing is for our elementary school. The elementary school, 1st through 4th grade, they're all green books. If I open them up, the elementary school drill that I want to talk about is the unintentional intentional foul. All right, the unintentional intentional foul. What that is this: if you foul somebody, boom, it's a foul, of course. But if you mean to foul someone, it's an intentional foul. It's an intentional foul, like you meant to do it. The rules state if you do an intentional foul, it's a technical. All right. And you don't want to do intentional fouls. It's like bad, right? And it's not really technical. Basically, it's the team gets the foul, they get to shoot their free throws, but then they get the ball back. So you don't want to do intentional fouls. But now at the end of games, when the other team has the ball and they're like maybe up by 2 points or 1 point or whatever, and if they just dribble forever and the game would end, you want to foul them, right? You want to put them on the line so that you have a chance to get the ball back. Well, you can't just foul them. You have to pretend that you're going for the ball. So I like to call it an intentional, unintentional foul. All right. So you're doing it on purpose, intentional, but you have to go for the ball to make it look unintentional. Like, oops, I was just going for the ball. So basically at the end of the game, if I start screaming, foul him, and the ref hears it, and then you guys hit them and nowhere near the ball, they're going to call an intentional foul. And then they get 2 free throws, yeah, but then they also get the ball, and then the game is basically over. So you don't want to get caught in that situation. Whenever you foul someone on purpose at the end of games, you have to make it really, really like kind of secretive, okay? And you can't hit them in the head. You got to just go for the ball, hold their arm, and then you foul them. You also can't miss either, so make sure that you foul them well. All right, and so you want to use the penalty. Normally you wouldn't want to foul ever, but you use the penalty to your advantage, but you can't go too far. And this leads us to, again, the protesters, all right, where it's not legal to block traffic, let's say. It's not legal. You can't just be out in the middle of the road. That's illegal. But when you're protesting something that isn't fair, you're going to do that, because I would say no protest in the history of the planet, the other side who is being protested against, no one has ever said, yay, I'm happy that you're protesting. What you're doing is good. Because if they did that, then it wouldn't be a protest. So any protest that you see, people are going to hate it. And, and afterwards, 20 years later, they're going to be like, oh, you guys were right. We were doing you bad, like that, right? That's how things go. So when you're blocking traffic for a really good reason, maybe it's a revolution, right? But now if you start rioting and like burning down places and like stealing stuff, well, that's too far. So if you're going one-on-one, all right, if you're going one-on-one where you're going to the basket hard and you try to take a block, I guess, and you like go straight through them. It's a very, very advantageous thing for you to do is to take the penalty, right? But if you smash into someone and they get a charge, well, now you've done too much. Or if you foul someone on purpose at the end of games, it's good. But if you hit their head off, that's too much. So when you need things to go in your favor, you need to use those penalties. Take your time, all right, and do it well. All right. Hope you guys understand that mix. All right. Next one is the middle school. The middle school drill is post entry. There we go. The post entry plus kick out, and you get a point for that. So basically, we would play 5-on-5. And anytime there's a post entry, anytime that you guys pass it into the post, and the post looks around and then passes it back out safely, we give you a point. And why we do that is because a lot of people just don't pass the ball on the inside, and we're trying to like promote that. And then once the ball gets on the inside, that dude never passes it back out. So we're trying to promote inside and out basketball so you guys can trust each other. Also, so you guys can understand how to do it, because it's hard to pass the ball to the inside. It's also hard to pass back out. So we want you guys to practice that. So we will give you a free point anytime that you guys pass the ball in. And this drill is, it's a good one because you're unfamiliar with it, right? It doesn't feel like normal for you to do that. And when you work on unfamiliar things, that's how you prep for games. All right, so you want to work on the unfamiliar things in practice so that when the game comes along, it's not unfamiliar anymore. All right, and to talk about another riot, this is one that I'm quite familiar with. All right, but it was a very unfamiliar time, and this was the LA riots. Now how old was I? I was 11 years old. So any of you guys who are 11 or 12, I was around that age, and I was living in North Hollywood, very, very close to LA. And Rodney King was the guy this time that got beat down by a cop. But it wasn't just a cop. It was like 12 cops or something like that. And it was caught on film. And this is not the day when we had like film from our camera. That wasn't around then. It was filmed from like an actual camera that's this guy named Holiday had. This white dude just happened to have it. And he was like filming. He's like, what is going on? Oh my God. I think he was like filming like the sky or something. And then he saw this and they kept beating him over and over and over again. Well, for years, Black people were always saying the police beat us down for no reason. And everyone was like, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's he said, she said. And then finally this guy caught it on film and people were like protesting. They were going crazy, but they weren't rioting until the guys who were caught on camera went to trial, and then the judge let them go and said, you're all innocent. Right when he said that, the cities were in flames. Like my mom and I drove through like a few days after, and every like Safeway was burned down. Every house was burned down. It was so sad. It was crazy. And it was all because of just something like just nuts. You watch something on Rodney King? Yeah, the Rodney King thing was crazy. And I remember seeing like burning buildings from like my front door. That's how close it was to us. And it was a very like weird time. And I remember as a kid, like being pretty confused about it, but like, you know, like what's going on here? Like what's going to happen next? Will it ever stop? And it did stop. And that's what I'm here to tell you guys is people get over it, but some changes were made in the LAPD. And changes will be made this time as well. So we're always going to be improving. All right. Anyway, so the unfamiliar times, they eventually come back together. All right. Go with the last one where it's the high school drills. For the high school drills, this one's a smart one. This is the zone offense. When people are playing a zone, they either play a 2-1-2. And zone is when they're not playing man, but they're staying in spots. Or they can also play a 2-3. Or they can play a 1-3-1. Whatever they play, we focus on the guard up top. Whatever the guard's doing, we want to do the opposite. So if there's one guard up top, we want two guards. So that guy's like confused. If there's two guards on top, like in a 2-3, we want one guard up top. So they have to be like, wait, are we going to guard him or who's going to guard him? And then we have two wings. So basically it's us three against their two. So if they have two guards up front, we go with three. We go with an odd number. If they have one guard up front, we go with two. So that it's always an angle for us to drive and penetrate zones. So a point guard, a great point guard should notice that. They should be like, oh, it's a one guard front, come up here, come up here, come up here, bring another guard, and you guys will swing it. This is just during the game. A coach shouldn't have to say it. You guys should know what kind of defense it is. So if they're playing zone, which a lot of teams do these days, which sucks, because zones are stupid, really. It's bad defense, especially if anyone can shoot. A zone's over. Anyone can rebound. A zone's over. So I don't play zone. We play man. But if we go against the zone, you have to realize who's doing it and how they're doing it. And basically, you must adapt. All right. And in these situations, we must adapt. Okay. Whatever's happening in our world, we must adapt to it. All right. My next riot thing that I was going to talk about is the 1863 Manhattan draft riot. And basically, this is what happened. All right. The Irish people were new immigrants. They came from Ireland, and they weren't getting along with the black people that were here, and they started kind of fighting, right? But then there was a war going on too. So at the same time, they were trying to recruit people to draft into the war. Now, black people were very poor at the time, but white people they had money. So everyone, when they do a draft, everyone has to do it. Has to do a draft. It has to be equal, right? Everyone comes into the war. Everyone must fight. So that's what a draft is. But for this draft, they made it so if you could pay $300, you didn't have to go to the war. And $300 then is about $9,000 now. So basically, only rich people could pay that. So all the rich people got to get out of the war. So then everyone's looking around to see who's fighting in the war. All black people, and they're like, "What?" And then some of the Irish people too were poor. So they were like, wait, us too? And you guys don't have to fight? So everyone just got so mad that they started rioting. And it started a big, huge thing. And I think about 30 something people died in this riot, burning buildings, everything, and this is our world. It's craziness, right? But again, they were trying to adapt in the wrong way. When you adapt, you have to make things known. You have to make the right decisions when you adapt and adapt positively. Okay. All right. Next thing is your homework. I've been watching you guys' homework again. I noticed the Chastain Challenge people are still posting. I think what's his name? Gavin is now on month 2, but he's keeping it. He's keeping the days going. So he's on day 32, month 2, day 1, or something like that. So it's kind of cool. We'll see how long this lasts. If you can do all 10 months, that's crazy. I'm not sure if the book changes though, so I don't know when the 10 months is. I'm not sure. When I didn't look ahead, I'm not sure what month they're actually on right now. Let me see. What book is this? 7th grade. Yep. Nice. So you guys are on 10-month Chastain Challenge. Let's see. What month are you on? Do you guys? Oh, so right now you guys are on month 9. Okay. All right. So you guys, since I gave you guys the books early, you're on month 9 for the Chastain Challenge. So after that, you have another month. So this is June. And then in July, you would have a month of the Chastain Challenge. But after that, for August, it switches over. So you guys would have the 10-minute drill. And you guys would do some other things. Yeah. So it switches up. All right. So you guys have 2 more months of this, basically. You don't have to do all 10. All right. Zone is insane because I just hit threes. Yep, Blake, you knocked down some threes, man. You've been shooting so much. We can't wait to see you on the court again. You're gonna be draining them all day. All right. The homework though for this month is the scissor wrap dribble, and I showed you guys some of it right there. If you guys are starting to do that, post some images of it, even if you can't do it. Especially if you can't do it, actually. Post an image of you trying to do it. Then by the end of the month, you have it perfect. So then you can make a collage at the end. All right. I'll show you guys what it is. Basically, it's around your waist, through the legs. I'll show you right now. All right. So you're here. We're going around like this. But you have to go between your legs as well. So I go like this. I put my right leg forward. I'm like this. Wait. There we go. All right. So you gotta go around like that. It's a crazy dribble. It's a crazy dribble that you probably will never try to do, but give that a go, okay? That is the scissor wrap dribble. All right. So post your video attempts, please. All right. That brings me to my next riot. This is one that my parents always talked about because it was from their childhood. All right. 1965. The Watts riots. Before the LA riots, the Watts riots were the real deal. Everyone's like, oh, dang, the Watts riots. Watts is still a dangerous place. It was so dangerous. And basically what happened was that a guy was driving drunk, which you shouldn't do. It's bad, right? But it doesn't merit like a death sentence, right? But this guy got beat. I don't know if he died, but like he got beat down, and then the riots happened right after that because the cops they didn't pay for anything. Whenever a guy gets beat down by the cops and like someone pays for it, like the cop maybe goes to jail, no one riots. But when that guy gets let off, then people get kind of like antsy about it. So 34 people died in these riots. Again, it's not a good thing. So when things are difficult, it's how you handle them. All right, and we have to handle things well from every end. All right. Next one is our challenges. So I was going to say another challenge for today. The challenge that I want to focus on today comes from the fifth grade. All right, the fifth grade challenge for today. If you're a fifth grader, who's a fifth grader in our program? We don't have that many. It's okay though. The fifth grade challenge is an interesting one though. It's the Michael Jordan Hall of Fame workout. If you haven't looked at our Hall of Fame workouts, people like Ben Levy are on there because he's a Hall of Fame member. All right, we have our Hall of Fame members mixed in with Steph Curry, Dennis Rodman has a workout, and basically you download this app. And the app has like a button that you press that says, what does it say? Remix. Yeah. And it mixes it up and it gives you a whole workout, but a new workout every single time. And you can download just like the Dennis Rodman workout. And it'll tell you how to become a better rebounder, a better finisher, things like that. Download the Steph Curry one, how to become a better shooter. And it'll give you actual drills to do that are different every single day. But there's also one for Michael Jordan. For that one, since it's Michael Jordan, he does a lot of moves, a lot of mid-range shots, and then plays a lot of one-on-one in the end. So if you have someone to do it with, that's good too. So we like to use these. But if you want to follow one of our Hall of Fame members like Emma Godfrey, Dennis Pamazanov, things like that, you can also download theirs that are very specific to that player as well. All right. So I think there's one for Kendrick as well. I'm not sure if there's one for me because I'm not in the Hall of Fame, but I might have put one for me up there. I'm not sure. I make the whole page, so I can do whatever I want. So check out that. It's in our challenges section. Click on Hall of Fame workouts. Or you can go to our Hall of Fame page and click on anyone's name, and it'll take you to the Hall of Fame workout section. And you can download the app. It's called the Combo app or something like that, and it'll give you some awesome workouts, okay? John, I did my MJ and Curry and Kendrick. Oh, really? So you've done it before. Nice, Blake. I like that. All right. Next thing is, where am I? 1906 now. Now we're going back to 1906. These are the Atlanta riots. And basically, when the riots happened, again, the government hid all the facts because they were like, if we hide all the facts, then no one will ever know. So they hid all the facts, and people, again, don't know how many people died. They don't know what started it and all this other stuff. They hid the facts, and then after a while, people forget about it. So communication is huge. Right? People want to make sure that, because there's consequences to these things, and we have to basically be honest as people. And no one's perfect. Black people aren't perfect. Cops aren't perfect. White people aren't perfect. No one's perfect. So when you refuse to say that you're wrong ever, at some point in time, you should say, yes, I'm wrong this time. Many people don't do that. They might say that they were wrong in the past, but when the time comes, very few people say, I'm wrong. And that's a problem. You have to realize when you're wrong and then admit it. And then that's all people really want. So if you get in trouble, just admit that you're wrong, and then you can move on. All right. Our movie of the day that I was going to talk about is actually a really interesting one. It's called Glory Road, and I didn't see it till later when it was out of the theaters because it looked kind of cliche, but it was a good movie. It was solid. Basically, this have you seen Glory Road? No. All right. This basketball coach, he was a girls basketball coach in high school. He somehow gets offered this job to coach in college, but he was offered to coach a college basketball team made of all black guys. And it was like D1 team, all this stuff. And they were being hated on because of racism, things like that. But basically they moved beyond that. I won't tell you the whole thing, but it's a good movie. And it's a good thing to again, it's another overcoming story, but I really recommend that movie. I saw it on the airplane ride to Taiwan. It was a pretty good movie. That's the fifth grade movie, Glory Road. I highly recommend it. And then the last ride that I'll mention, or second to last, is the Detroit riots of 1943. It was again between blacks and immigrants. That's another hard one because Detroit has so many hardships that they go through, and they have so many poor people because they have factory system and things like that. So again, all that stuff keeps weighing down. So these are not new. Nothing's new about this. All right. The quote, the story of the day is: you should create a habit of perpetual improvement and never be satisfied with where you currently are. Once you improve that integral part of your life, you'll be well on your way to wherever you wish to be. So that means that every day you want to improve. No matter how perfect you are, no matter how perfect your world is, right? Like America's amazing. It's probably the best country in the entire world. Should we still improve? Yeah. So should we notice the bad things? Should we say the bad things? Of course we should. All right. So notice those things. All right. One more right is the 1967 one. And this one ends in a really good one, I think. 43 deaths. That's because of police tensions again. It was after Martin Luther King's death. After that one, after Martin Luther King died, everyone started just like burning stuff down. One person saved the day. And that person was James Brown. All right? He's a singer and dancer. The governor called on James Brown to save the day. James Brown threw a concert. This is real life. He threw a concert. They invited everyone there, and everyone stopped rioting because of James Brown. And they were kind of going crazy on stage, and he yelled at all of the black kids, and he's like, no, stop doing that. And like they just stopped. And he started singing and dancing for them, and they loved him. All right, so maybe we need another James Brown today. All right, but either way, we need to habitually improve. Habitually means to make it a habit. And today for the Google Meet, we need to improve that as well. All right, we have off the backboard alley oops, spin to layups, drive to fake spin, swoop layups, floaters. All right, I have about a minute. I'll just show you guys those a little bit. Off the backboard layups is you throw the ball off the backboard, catch a layup. That one's easy. Spin to layup, again, easy. Start from the wing, dribble in, hit. Spin. Again, simple. And then the other three are drive to fake spin. Again, same thing, but then you bounce and then you fake spin. Over here. Shoot your shot. Make sure that you turn your head on that one. The last two, swoop layup and then floater. So swoop layup from right here. From the elbow, right here. And then the last one is floaters. Those are floaters. Start from the elbow, dribble in, shoot the ball high, make sure that you aim high. So I hope you guys understand those as drills. Make sure you guys do all the stuff. And we will see you guys in about 30 minutes for the Google Meet. All right, the link on our website, click on isolation workouts, click the Google Meet link, and I will see you then. All right, peace, guys. Tell me when I throw some fingers up. You still on? Do you see a blank screen? Do you see me? Tell me when I do that. Tell me when you see nothing on the screen. Huh? No, there's nothing on the screen. Good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. These.
Yeah.